Lots of folks in the insurance industry off guard, and joining us now with some thoughts on this and much more, Fox News contributor Jim Pinkerton. Jim, great to have you here today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Emma.
You know, this announcement focuses on folks whose plans were canceled, and now they can buy a bare-bone plan or entirely avoid a requirement that most Americans must have health insurance. This, though, creating a backlash. What's your opinion about this move at this 11th hour?
Well, I mean, according to John Fund at the National Review, this is the 14th major change in the program since it was signed into law. I mean, in the old days, we used to think that the president would sign a piece of legislation, it would become law, and that would be that. Now we've discovered that in the 3 years since, and the 30,000 pages of regulations, the administration can pretty much do what it wants in terms of changing it. And so I got to tell you, I'm not really sure what happened. A 14th change, I expect there'll be another one tomorrow. This is on top of all the waivers. I think the Obama administration's plan is to simply amend or waive or ignore or suspend all the unpopular parts of the law, probably including making people pay for it. It'll just be a giant program giving away money, and somebody else can figure out what that means for the deficit.
Well, you know, a lot of folks are saying that this move was designed to placate Democrats who are facing tough re-elections next year in districts where voters are very upset with the fallout over Obamacare. This change now also allows consumers for the first time to claim a hardship exemption if they think the plans sold through the state and federal marketplace are too expensive. Do you think, though, it's enough to get more people to sign up?
I mean, again, I think if eventually, I think they're just going to say, look, you're covered, okay? The details about the Navigator program have said, listen, the Navigators are preaching people to lie, to make up stuff, to not include their income if it's too high, because they get eligible for subsidies. I think the administration will say, listen, we have to get our numbers up, and we don't really care whether the program works or not, but we have this, the media are now watching. Did you get 1 million people to enroll, 2 million people to enroll, 3 million people to enroll? I think it's a big mess. I think that it was the situation the administration finds itself in is summed up yesterday in the press conference when the reporter from the New York Times said, Mr. President, how does it feel to have your statement? If you'd like your health insurance, you can keep it. As PolitiFact's Lie of the Year. PolitiFact, of course, is the Pulitzer Prize-winning media watchdog operation that again declared the president's statement, quote, the lie of the year. No wonder he wants to get to Hawaii for a 2.5-week vacation.
Well, you know, let's go talk about the exemption for just a moment again, because, you know, another part of this is that it's freeing up people from one of the central features of the law, that you have to have health insurance or pay a fine. Now folks have the choice of having no insurance at all or just buying skimpy catastrophic insurance. Isn't that going to completely rock the system here?
Yeah, I mean, the insurance companies are freaking out because they're not going to get the revenue. The whole bargain between the insurance companies and the Obama administration and the Democrats in Congress was, well, look, we will make people buy this insurance, which will then cover you for the higher costs you're incurring from other people getting covered, the, quote, young invincibles, unquote. I don't listen. It is Bob Schieffer, you know, of CBS News, who's no conservative, said this is the biggest fiasco he's seen in 40 years in covering Washington. And I have to tell you, I kind of agree. And meanwhile, you see other aspects of the health issue starting to emerge. For example, Eric Telford, writing for RealClearPolicy.com, who works at the Franklin Center, pointed out today that the FDA is dragging its feet on an antidote to this meningitis outbreak that has been very sickening college students both in the East Coast and the West Coast, and the FDA won't approve the meningitis vaccine. So what do you do when your health insurance is sort of a skimpy and non-existent and financial and unexplainable, and meanwhile people are getting sick of real diseases?
Yeah,
that's actually a bigger issue to people, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it's one big mess, but the president has a bit of a reprieve right now as he continues to vacation. He gets away from all the yelling and screaming here in Washington. All right.
Surf's up.
That's right, exactly. Jim, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us.